Forget about manifesting a new reality. Instead of wishing, hoping, and make believe that you can force your current situation to change, we're going to dive into something much deeper and way more powerful. So only continue watching this video if you're ready to let go of limiting beliefs that are keeping you small and you're ready to step into your soul's dream life. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do so that you can step into this new reality you have co-created with your soul's true desires to attract and align with the right people, opportunities, chances, and abundance in your life. Let's dig deep. Whether you like it or not, your current reality is a reflection of the beliefs that you absorbed, learned, saw, and took in with everything that you experienced from the ages 0 to 7. So even if consciously you know that there's a better reality waiting for you, that there's better, more profound friendships, that there is a deeper experience to life, that there is, true authentic love and your soulmate waiting for you, that you know that there's a brighter, more open, more juicy life waiting for you. If your subconscious hasn't seen this, if your subconscious doesn't believe this is possible for you, it is going to be incredibly hard for you to access this new reality. Because what happens is that we stay stuck in these patterns that are keeping us small. And even though if these patterns don't feel good, even if we're struggling financially, even if we are stuck in toxic relationships, even if we always end up being in a job where we don't feel seen and don't feel valued, that sensation, that emotional experience allows our subconscious to believe that this is safe because this is what we know. And so stepping out of the comfort zone, even if that comfort zone is not what we want, is so much harder because we do not access the reality of our life from what we know from our frontal cortex, from like the rational, very present kind of way of understanding life. Because I'm sure that if you're watching this, you're highly self-conscious and self-aware. You understand the patterns, you understand some kind of psychology. There's, just this consciousness that you have access to, this information, this knowledge. You're hungry to understand yourself. You're hungry to learn. You're hungry for that desired bigger life that is awaiting for you. Because you know that you're here to experience grand things. You see people on social media having a better life. You see, maybe you have a friend or you have a friend of a friend or a family member who you've admired, who you've heard stories about. So we know that we can access abundance, plentiful. It is there for us. But we are so stuck in trying to move out of what our subconscious believes to be true that it is incredibly hard for us not to step out of this kind of like man-made jail. It is that we are sitting in this jail that we could just actually move out of, but because our beliefs are so stuck and our neural programs are so in sync with, this deep aspect of survival that it is really difficult for us to break free. Luckily, we have now discovered through neuroscience that our brain is actually moldable. So I remember when I was 18 years old, I was sitting with my mom in her car and she looked at me and she's like, Maike, this is the peak of your brain activity. If you're not able to manage your life now, you will never. And I was like, oh my God, I just turned 18. I have no idea what to do with my life. This is the peak of my brain capacity. From this day on, everything's going downhill. And I felt so scared and I was so overwhelmed and I felt so much pressure that when I discovered around 7-8 years ago that we actually have the capacity to change our neurological patterns, and that when we change what we believe to be true, our reality actually changes. So this is what is called reprogramming your subconscious mind. And reprogramming your subconscious mind is the most effective way that you can start changing your reality without wishing, without vision boarding, without visualizing. It is an actual changing of your neurological patterns through feeding it different experiences to create new neural pathways that disrupt the beliefs that you have. And when you remove the limiting beliefs that are keeping you small, you open up the possibility. Things you didn't even know were possible are going to show up in your life. And this is how we can align our soul's true desires with the reality that is coherent with the energy that we give out. Nowadays, we can learn absolutely everything from the internet. If you've ever tried to start a business, if you've wanted to improve your physical body and lose weight or get fit, there's a diet, there's a sports program, there's a business course. Everything and anything that we would ever want, we will find on YouTube or any other social media platform. And we have so much access to information. But maybe, just like I did, I tried, I invested, I spent money, and I felt frustrated and bitter and angry, and I didn't understand why I was doing everything right, but I still wasn't seeing any result. And that is because even though we have this vast, incredible amount of information just at our fingertips, there's something that we're just starting to learn, and that is energy. And so what happens is that we all have a unique energetic purpose. And once you start understanding your energetic purpose, you will see and learn and understand how to read why you have obstacles and how you can remove them to experience flow in your life. The reason that you will encounter the resistance in your life, the reason that you will encounter obstacles in your life is because you are not aligned with your energetic purpose. And so anytime we're not in our purpose, the universe will take energy away from us so that we stop walking onto the path that takes us away from our purpose, because you are here to be incredibly unique. You have this wild mix of little quirks and interests and things you're great at and things that only you love. And if you would own all of those parts of yourself that make you so incredibly unique and individual, then you will be able to stand out like a shooting star in the sky. And when you do that and you tune into your energetic authenticity, you become incredibly magnetic because you are owning your unique way of showing up in the world. You're able to tap into your unique gifts and talents that you have come to share with the world. And so what happens is that since we are really little, since we are born, our soul has come as a whole entity into this human experience. But through conditioning and this intense need for survival and love and sense of belonging that we have as humans, when our environment and the people that are caretakers don't support our authentic self fully, we remove, we reject, we hide, we disconnect from a part of that whole authentic self in order to feel safe, in order to survive, and in order to feel a sense of belonging. And so what happens is that our subconscious starts being programmed into this very strong belief, because it is tied to survival, literal death. So this is like a very intense belief that is so rewired in our brain, because our soul, our whole mission in life is to survive. So this is deeply ingrained within us. And so we start believing that only when we are inauthentic, only when we reject our deepest desires, only when we please our outside circumstances, our caretakers, and our environment and the pressure of society, only then will we be able to be loved and accepted. But actually what happens is that we deeper and deeper and further disconnect from our own truth, from our inner guiding system, that we forget that we have been born innately with a voice that is bringing us and guiding us towards our energetic purpose, towards our purpose in general and our soul's desires. Our heart wants what it wants for a reason. You have these desires inside you because of something. And so the fact that we're not achieving them, the fact that they feel so far away, and we just get further and further disconnected from our truth. We get off the path from our purpose. We get sick, burned out, depressed, and it just like spirals downward. And so what happens is that once we start understanding how the energy works and we start understanding its language, we can start working on reprogramming our subconscious mind so that we remove the belief that only when we sacrifice our authentic self, we'll be able to feel safe and have a sense of belonging and love. And so subconscious reprogramming works similarly to the cellular activation. And this is a process where through repetition, there's these neural pathways that are created. It is similar to when you're learning a new language. So if you've ever lived abroad, then you will start learning the language in this new country you're living. This is when new neural pathways are connected. But when you go back to a different country where you're talking the other language, you will notice that there is difficulty. And this is wild because I am German and I grew up in Barcelona. And I grew up bilingual. And when I was 21, I think, I moved to Berlin. And I was talking German all the time, which was kind of like not common for me because I had been growing up in Spain. And then I went back to Spain after maybe 9 months. And I felt so weird talking Spanish because I hadn't talked Spanish in so long, even though this was a language that I have been speaking since I was born. So these neural pathways are really quick to form, but they need repetition. And we can do the same with what we believe we're worthy of and the reality we want to impact. So the subconscious reprogramming of the mind is really accessing these very deep patterns that we don't even remember exist because these are things we absorbed in childhood. So oftentimes we're not even conscious of the things that we saw, the things we experienced, and what has been really taken deep into our mind. So with repetition of accessing the subconscious mind, and there are certain meditations with a certain vibration, delta, alpha, and theta waves that access that brain frequency that is similar to the brain frequency we had in childhood that is kind of like a sponge. And so when you access that certain level of frequency of your brain matter, that is when you're able to mold and change and remove these old patterns, and through repetition create new neural patterns that allow you to change and shift these deep subconscious beliefs that you have. And when you change those deep subconscious beliefs that you have, you can actually impact your reality. And you will be able to align and attract the most incredible friendships, the most beautiful soulmate relationships, success and abundance in your work, job, or business, and having an incredible, exciting, fulfilling, and adventurous life. I was burned out, had several failed business, had an autoimmune disease and a newborn baby, and was just so bitter and so burned out and so sad and so desperate, and I didn't know how I could align with the things I knew were meant for me. And so I started using these subconscious reprogramming meditations in conjunct with my energy type in my human design, and it literally changed my life completely because there was so much fear around me acting in accordance with my energetic authenticity because of the beliefs that I grew up with, the conditioning of society that there's only one way of doing things. But when I doubled down on my unique way of doing things and I was able to really tap into the potential of my energetic authenticity and my individual way of expressing myself, I was able to show up authentically. And when I was able to show up authentically, people started noticing. And that is when my business took off and I was booked out a month in advance for 2 years. I started making multiple six figures and have the most incredible community, the most beautiful, loyal friendships, and so much love in my life. Because of that, I have put all of the tools that I used in the last 7 years to transform my life into the Soft Power membership, your online portal, your virtual palace, your safe space for death and rebirth, so that you can start using subconscious dives, reprogramming meditations to access your subconscious and change the limiting beliefs that are not allowing you to step into the full potential of that incredible life you are meant to have. You can join the Soft Power membership now. Link is in the description box, and you have a 7-day free trial, and you can cancel anytime. You know, the only one who's in charge of changing your life is you. I can sit here and share with you all of the things that I know and share with you all of the things that I've done, knowing that there is an incredible high chance that this could impact and change your life as well. But nothing changes if nothing changes, and the only person who needs to make the first step is going to be you. You need to stop self-abandoning your desires and actually make an effort to commit to your highest self. The Soft Power membership will support you in doing exactly that. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions on what I've done to change and transform my life, if you want to know more about how subconscious reprogramming works, if you want to know more on any of the subjects that I touched in this video, please leave your comments below. I read every single one of them. They make my life so incredible, great. I am so proud of the community that we've been creating, and I'm so excited to see you in the Soft Power membership. Remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you, and I wish you an incredible day ahead.